global warming and extinction of species. Uh, yes, a friend of mine asked me, what do you think? Is there going to be a World War III? No. Uh, Personally, to me, the answer is obvious. I mean, there are going to be only two possibilities. A, the United States of America wins. B, absolutely everybody loses totally. B being more probable of the two. So, I mean, who would want World War III? No one. It ain't gonna happen. I understand the geopolitical situation, that there's a perpetual crisis on this certain axle of the world, continuous crisis, and the situation's only been the same before World War II. I do understand that, but ain't gonna happen. And it's an interesting, prognostication to do. You can only be right or wrong. Is there gonna be World War III, 2016, 2017? No. And let's see. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. Accidents can always happen. But again, my irk is still that who cares? I mean, we're not gonna have World War III. Is something gonna get better? Since we're not gonna have World War III, are we gonna have something really fun and good and jolly? I understand that the government and the president of China, that they're getting more and more oppressive, more and more dictatorial, more and more controlling, because the Chinese economy is in trouble, in understandable, very, again, prognosticable. Is that a word? It is now. Trouble. So, to combat the future unhappiness that there is going to be with ordinary people, you as a oppressive government, you have to dig in. You have to strengthen your hold. Lovely. In the Middle East, they're gonna think of something else. Again, the reason for Syria, competing pipelines and gas lines. I mean, what they're gonna have next? Which country they're gonna F up next? In this game for natural resources. I don't know. As far as one can think or see, the whole slide of Russia from the rather free and promising country of the early Yeltsin period to this more and more totalitarian country, as far as I can understand, well, it was all about, again, all these independence movements here and there, and I mean, why not negotiate? Why not have independence in some areas? Why not have self-governance in some areas and just be peaceful? When you start the old imperial Russian politics, of the Empire of Russia, of the Soviet Union, you're going to end up where we are at the moment. Oh, and by the by, in this awful situation that we're in, I said earlier that I didn't know what to do with, I didn't have enough information about Ukraine. I feel I have now it should be a federal state in this present situation. Without a question, it should be a federal state. And if I understand correctly, it's Kiev that's stopping it, and probably there are oligarchy, corrupty reasons behind that. World 2016. Turkey is again has loomed large in my conversation, and it seems that it's made out to be a major player in the possible future if we're not all going to be destroyed in an ecological disaster, which I severely doubt. But again, it seems pretty much all because of, just not allowing a Kurdish state. This awful crap that the Turkish government is at the moment, and all this military action that it is, part of, all because they can't allow a Kurdish state. Pure madness. Now, from the humanistic point of view, I think it was late last week when there was a report on the illegal human organ trade, very valuable to some people. I think I'm pretty sure it was in hundreds of thousands, illegal organs, and it was billions that was made from it. And many of these illegal organs gotten from the, poor people in Eastern countries, pretty much, some of them kidnapped with their intestines forcibly removed, their organs forcibly taken. The world 2016. Oh yeah, and let me have your opinion on this. Yeah, that's all. I'm really meaning that you should have, give me your opinion. I just mean it's a way of speaking, isn't it? I'll just read the headline and two sentences. It's Survival International. Billionaires elephant hunting safaris implicated in pygmy abuses. 2nd of November 2016. I haven't confirmed this, but I have a strange feeling that this is true. And I really don't want to know anymore. Survival International has learned that an elephant hunting safari operation jointly owned by a French billionaire has been implicated in human rights abuses against local Baka, pygmies, and their neighbors, including illegal evictions and torture. The operation is based in 2 protected areas in Cameroon, leased by Benjamin de Rothschild. It offers tourists the chance to pay 55,000 euros to shoot a forest elephant. Now, if anyone can tell me if there was even something slightly or accidentally positive in any of the notes in that whole thing. World 2016. Oh yes, 2016. Yes, the US presidential elections. Perhaps somebody should make a prognosis of that. Clinton. Who gives a toss? It's actually interesting. Dr. Stein, I understand, as she should, has filed a complaint with the Board of Elections, or whatever the official instance is there. Pointing out to the obvious fact, proven beyond any reasonable doubt, that both the Trump campaign and the Hillary campaign have illegally, the last illegal thing, illegally coordinated with their super PACs. Now, do you think that Hillary and Trump are going to be disqualified, as they should be? No, neither do I. World 2016. And again, it doesn't matter who is going to win there. is the highly conservative, backwards government is going to be Hillary Clinton or Mike Pence government? Who gives a toss? Nothing is going to change. Again, if you would have had a Bernie Sanders presidency, you actually would have had change. And again, I'm pretty sure that the unfortunate accident that it was for the Democratic Party, I think the Sanders campaign actually has managed to change the world for the better. And is going to be felt in 4 years if mankind still exists. Let's hope for the best. But which one of these two idiots? Yes, and Hillary is an idiot as well. Not as big as Trump, but corruption is stupid. Which one of these two morons is going to win? Doesn't matter. Hillary. But that again should be rather bad news for the people in the Middle East, people in Ukraine, for all the minorities and prison populations in the United States itself, and anyone interested in progressive causes in the United States. World 2016. CETA came into effect, even though I ranted against it. And the first headlines were what they should be. 98% of all tolls removed between Canada and EU, and I've never understood why we should need more tolls to combat the environmental crime that is shifting something from the other side of the world to a country and it being cheaper than something that is produced in that country, next door. Tolls were one of those things that actually made countries possible, and certainly made welfare countries possible. Tolls and taxes. And if you take away tolls, it's going to mean that countries, individual countries, welfare states are going to have less money, and people are going to suffer. If you take tolls away, it means more profits for giant corporations, which then distribute those profits for their CEOs and board members in options and to their shareholders, their investors. They keep claiming that all these toll exemptions and this free trade that it brings more investment to all countries and growth to the companies. Well, firstly, you have these giant corporations. Do they need more growth? Not in my mind, they don't. They haven't for a long time. But investment, what does that mean? It hasn't for a longest time. It hasn't meant any decent jobs or again tax revenue for a particular country. It just means exploitation and then more profits for the investors of that investment. It's a neoliberal crap. And again, almost everybody, for example, in Europe, just taking it in. Just accepting all this crap simply because leaders that most of them haven't really elected telling them that it's a good thing. World 2016. And I can't wait for the first big legal battle between a giant corporation and a government on some environmental legislation that prevents future profits. It'll be a doozy. World 2016. So, to recap, no World War III. So what? No progress inside so far. Environmental disaster in the cards at the moment. I don't know when I'm going to make a my next rant.